Okay, lower that music. What's up, everybody? This is Francisco here for Sports Goofs number 138. I'm joined by my good buddies Andrew and Charles once more. Yeah, it's a bit of a late start today. I had some troubles with my computer, but I finally got it to cooperate with me, and now it can cooperate with us on the show. How are you guys doing?
Not too bad. How about you?
I'm all right. Came home, took a little quick shower, and then my computer decided to run slow as molasses, and it's all thanks to Batman Arkham Knight. So there you go. I should have known because apparently Batman Arkham Knight had some really notorious bugs on the PC version, which I did experience on my playthrough, if you look at my own channel. And yeah, but I gotta find some YouTube workarounds on there to see if, because apparently some people have it running at 60 frames without choppiness. That's the unfortunate thing sometimes when you have a PC. Sometimes some games just don't play nice with your setup compared to consoles. So yeah, oh well. Yeah. How about you, Charles? I haven't heard from you.
I'm good. I'm just being professional today. So as we're doing this show,
everything he hates about himself.
I know. I'm taking this 2-hour opportunity that we have to actually compile the remaining rough draft of a presentation I have to do for a CLE. CLE for listeners is a continuing legal education, which means Charles has sold out. And this is what happens when you stay in the field for too long for one particular section, and people know you and they ask you to do things, and then you get caught up with all the other stuff, and you have a window of, a day and a half to do things. But one thing I will tell anybody who's doing presentations, for the love of God, always have an outline. And I have my outline, and I hate PowerPoint. I am not a PowerPoint person. I know it's user-friendly, but my style of presentation is very TED Talk. Different from the podcast because I'm very tangent and I run and everything like that. But whenever I do my public speaking and everything, there's that humor, there's that TED Talk. And TED Talk with every TED Talk person is the whole thing. Seriousness, joke. Seriousness, hand movements, walking around, seeing people engaged. And I'm the public speaker that treats it like wrestling. The worst thing for wrestling is to have a dead audience. Cheer me, cheer me, tell me I suck or say what. But if you're dead quiet, it's going to affect my ego. That's how I am here. And you don't have those certain capacities with PowerPoint, because I feel PowerPoint is like, on this we do this, on this we do this, on this we do this. But, forward to bar, they like PowerPoints, they like outlines. You want your CLE for your credits, let's go do it. That's me.
Andrew's probably got more experience than us in presenting things to an audience.
That's true.
Any sort of tips you have there, Andrew? How's your style? What's your style compared to Charles?
Well, unfortunately, the presentations I go to, you have to be normal. So you don't really get that opportunity to, move around the room and talk about stuff like that.
A podium or something? You just stand up there.
Well, you do have a podium. You have a podium and you stand there. I mean, I guess in theory you could move around, but since I have papers and I never have my things fully memorized, I can't really move around the room unless I'm talking after the fact, Q&A. So, I mean, if you have to speak normally, when is your presentation?
My presentation is next Thursday. I just have to do an outline. I've done numerous CLEs before in front of my judicial circuit, in front of bar associations. This one's not. If I have to bore you, it's essentially just going through substantive matters and issues of petitions and what I do in my line of work. So it's about getting. I hate writing the boring parts because a lot of this stuff is very hypothetical, but I've been working in my field for 5 years. I have overseen numerous attorneys my time going. I supervise that. So I got stories galore, but part of the thing is I got to hit the touch points to certify for Florida bar. So I have no concerns with this, just finding time, and I'm sure you both can speak to it, time to compile something when you come home from work, when you're extremely exhausted and you still have to do time to these things. I don't get how some of our friends can do 12-hour, 13-hour, 14-hour work days. but they're built differently than I am. Good luck for you kids who decide to go stay in Miami instead of just moving an hour and a half north or going west or something, who want to go in the big old law litigation and you're stuck eating, chips at like 12 o'clock at night as dinner because you got to crunch numbers for the pyramid scheme of big law businesses.
Well then, okay, I knew this. I knew this would devolve into you just like, well, I mean, you hate all of this. You hate all of that. What you've become.
Yeah. Well, so me and my paralegal, and I guess this is always to be a segue because we are lawyers who are sports analysts, and there are lawyers in life. You could become a sports agent. Maybe that's what we'll do with it. But sometimes what happens is, him and I joke about it, is that I'm not just the guy now, I'm the right guy. And that's what happens when you get to any kind of profession, when you realize that you're adept and you're competent and you somehow survive by a bit of luck. But it wouldn't be Trujillo luck if I didn't have any luck, right? But you become the right person, the right guy, the right gal, the right human being for that situation. Don't go to law school, kids. It will steal your money. You will F up, and then you'll become a Supreme Court justice who follows different faiths and overturns something that's been established for something years. Ooh, touchy topics. Listen, I've been on that Twitter feed, and I've been looking at sports and everything like that. What a joke. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I know.
It's a joke. It's a joke.
Oh, man. So, yeah, some things went down, but that's not what this show's about. That's not what this show's about. We'll
can't smoke crack, can't have abortions, you can't have anything fun in this country.
The No Fun League. Well, yeah, speaking of No Fun League, NFL draft happened last week. Me and Charles, we'll talk about that. If you want genuine live reactions, we did do it. I did do the whole 4 hours and debased myself. However, this year I was able to survive a lot better because, one, I got a Wendy's honey chicken sandwich during it, but two, Charles's agony lifted my spirits. His anguish sustained me. So that was great.
It was such. We've done 3 years of it now.
Yeah,
and that was the first time I just got the rug pulled under me.
Yeah.
And I didn't know how to feel about it, but if we were able, hindsight's 2020,
Ooh.
If we were able to get draft day 2 and day 3 reactions, you would have had a much more happier Charles.
That's true. That's true. Thanks, but that first day was a genuine reaction. And Andrew, I don't know, did you watch the clip of
yes.
Charles's anguish?
Yes, I did.
It's a thing of beauty. It's what was it? The Wide World of Sports. What was the motto for it? The agony of defeat, right? Something like that. Something.
The thrill of victory, the agony of defeat.
Yeah, basically. And Charles was.
Man, I ain't got no victory.
It was the agony of defeat. That's what it was.
Paper victory, and somebody had the Need Knob SpongeBob pen that's just erasing me.
And Need Knock. All right, so I did post that on our TikTok account. Let's see, and we did have quite a number of people that watched us that day as well, that night. So right now, I did a TikTok poll. Did the Titans? How do you do, fellow kids? Did the Titans lose this trade? And 75% of our TikTok audience said yes. So not that great for Charles on that very day. But oh well, the things evened out, I guess. I don't know. The Dolphins had a draft party.
Everything.
The Dolphins had a draft party.
Anybody?
Well, in the first round, they didn't have any picks, and the Dolphins threw a draft party for whatever reason. People showed up. So I don't know. I'm gosh, man. Anyways,
I was gonna say don't bring your kids around there if Tyreek Hill's there, but I feel that's too low hanging fruit.
Oh no.
Look, he's your guy.
Yeah. Well. Gosh, man. Anyway, so that was the NFL draft. That was the only day we covered it. I don't know anybody of note. Well, you guys got Malik. Was it Malik?
All right, so I can literally list out everybody that we got. We got Traylon Burks from Arkansas, which made me feel better because apparently Aaron Rodgers wanted him. And then, so John Robinson sat me down, Andrew, the GM of the Titans, and he told me last minute that the trade was going to happen, but I didn't believe him. He said, listen, we're gonna do these things. I'm like, but I love AJ Brown. He's our guy. And he says, listen, what do you love more than AJ Brown? I'm like, not much. He's like, what about screwing over Aaron Rodgers? I'm like, oh, I love that. And so he screwed over Aaron Rodgers. But the thing was that is allegedly who the Green Bay Packers was targeting for Aaron Rodgers. Mind you, they have nobody but a bust down Sammy Watkins fingernail. They were able to get the kid out of, I think his last name is West, from North Dakota or whatever, but that could be a slow transition. But it hurt a lot. But I wanted a quarterback. I wanted a halfback. I wanted linemen. So we got Traylon Burks. We needed a receiver anyway, but the thing was we needed that for A.J. Brown and Robert Woods, but we were able to get that. We got Malik Willis in the third round, so I'm just like Steve McNair over because I did watch him play at Liberty. I know he was an Auburn transfer, but you got to feel good when everybody was literally saying that this is the top quarterback in the league, and he only got dropped down to the third round, and the next guy that was picked in the first round was like Kenny Pickett. And everybody else was just kind of like a knee-jerk reaction. Like Desmond Ridder, I'm going to say it now, and forgive me because I know you were a former Cincinnati Bearcat fan, and I know that Andrew supported this as AAC alum or CUSA alum. I forgot which conference everybody's in there. But Desmond Ridder had an opportunity to go to the big time when he played against Bama, and I don't think they scored a touchdown, and Bama's defensive players all kind of got drafted. So that tells me all I need to know there. The pomp and circumstance of, like, I'm not going to leave till I win the Super Bowl. I'm like, good luck, kid. I think you're really capped out potential playing in Cincy, but I'm just being petty. I was happy to get Malik Willis. I was also very happy to get Hassan Haskins, and for the few times I did watch a Michigan game, he was a running back going from there. We need to spell Henry, and then we got Kyrie Phillips from UCLA to be, I guess, the other receiver. So Charles is satisfied now, but day one was traumatic. I don't think I could ever do a draft day ever again. This is a stops. I will do it, of course, per obligation, but this is a stop-still draft for us, Francisco and Andrew, because whereas we're kind of near the end of our peak, and then we have to build towards the future. I'm saying it right now on the record, dated May 3rd, 2002 or 2022 at 7:21 p.m. I am not scared of old-ass Matt Ryan on the Colts. I am not scared of the Jaguars. Don't play me on Houston, man. They might get something done in the next couple of years. I'm just saying. But the window of this regime is ending. Now we're trying to build the window for the next regime. And then, of course, Baltimore always has competent drafts, whatever.
Oh,
I just wanted a tackle.
that was the exact thing. I just wanted a tackle. Remember that. Andrew, you were modding on that night.
Correct.
Any sort of notable things that happened on the board that day? Any notable comments, or like everybody flipped out with the AJ Brown going to Philly?
I wasn't really following the users. What I was doing is we have a thread that we post, and what we do just for the first round is we update it pick by pick. So we say, I forgot who got picked, or where did Aiden Hutchinson go?
He went to Detroit, second round.
Second pick. Yeah, and from Michigan goes to Detroit. It was kind of like a no-brainer.
Right. We just have like a little logo. It says Detroit pick is this player. What school did he come from, and what was his position? So we have a little kind of chart that we just update pick by pick. So that was my duty. So I wasn't really following along with what everyone was saying. So I can't really say what the pulse was, but I didn't see any sort of emergencies popping up, so I assume everyone was fairly well behaved.
Okay. I guess we do this.
There's probably one Titan fan in Reddit, apparently. It wasn't me.
Let's see. So there's and I kind of want to see if I can find this information, but anybody from, I guess, you're the UCF guy from UCF.
We had one guy drafted, defensive tackle Kalia Davis, went to San Francisco.
Yeah,
I think he got drafted, I believe, in the 6th round. I think he would have gone higher, but he tore his ACL about halfway through the season, so naturally that's going to turn people off make them a bit more wary. But if he gets back to health, he's going to be a force to be reckoned with. And I know San Francisco, and again, I don't know much about the NFL, so I just kind of go by what I hear, mainly from Urinating Tree.
Yeah, he was a good follow that night.
They have some dude, Nick Bosa, right?
Yeah, you should know Nick Bosa just from college days, man. From like 2 years ago when he was at Ohio State.
Well, I forget what team he's on, but...
Yeah, he's on the 49ers.
So, and he's an edge, correct?
Yes, and they could use somebody up the middle to kind of help out because they don't have much on the depth chart.
So, yeah, Kalia will absolutely help there, especially if his knee gets back to 100%. We had a few guys that went UDFA. I don't remember who exactly. We had hold on.
Charleston Rambo went to Carolina. I'm just saying that our wide receiver, the only guy in Miami worth noting, in my opinion.
Let me see. Here we go. Thank you, Orlando Sentinel. We had 4 guys go UDFA. And I think one other person got a tryout. We had son of a paywall.
Every time. You
ran
out of free trials.
As a journalism major, I understand the need for paywalls because otherwise all news would go dead. It's still annoying nonetheless. So we had Cole Schneider. He went to the Packers. He is an O-lineman. Which, funny enough, one of Green Bay's, if he's not in the Hall of Fame, he should be. Do you guys know Josh Sitton?
Yes.
UCF alum.
Really?
So Cole is going to be kind of the next generation of Packers O-linemen from UCF. Big Cat Bryant, who transferred in from Auburn this past year, his last season, is going to the Cowboys. He is a linebacker. No. In college, he was an edge, but they're likely going to try and move him to linebacker because he's a bit small, apparently, for the position. He's 6'5", 245. We had Brandon Johnson, a wide receiver, going to Denver, and then you have Marcus Tatum, who was a tackle, going to Jacksonville, offensive tackle. So, hopefully he can give Trevor Lawrence a little more time to pass and not get completely shredded. But we'll see. I mean, this was a relatively small class for us. We had, I think, 5 guys drafted a season or 2 ago. This time we only had the 1, but that was not unexpected. We'll have a few more guys in the pipeline in the next couple of years.
Okay.
But yeah, relatively kind of non-impressive draft for us.
Well,
and I think FIU got a few UDFAs, but I don't think anyone was drafted. Or at least some tryouts. Let me check. So, well, it's cool to be able to say this because I followed a lot of these guys, having covered FIU for RCFB, and I don't explicitly cover them. I'm not RCFB's.
I don't know, guys. Notice Freddie's on. So what's up, Freddie?
Oh, hi, Freddie.
Welcome to the
Freddie.
new studio. I don't think he saw it just yet, but yeah, we got some new digs. We got some new digs.
So I just want to reiterate, I'm not the FIU correspondent for RCFB. It's just FIU
In an
happens
unofficial capacity, you kind of are.
correct. I technically cover anything in South Florida, but since FIU is 15 minutes down the road, and as it stands, they don't really have a lot of people in the media covering their games. It's kind of like a match made in heaven. So FIU had two guys, Devontae Price, a running back, and then we had he signed with the Colts, UDFA, and then you had Tommy Heatherly staying in Miami to the Dolphins as a punter, UDFA. Now, Francisco, as a Dolphins fan, I don't know what your punter situation is, but Heatherly is really
take a look at the
really-
chat as well, just to see what Freddie's commenting.
No Buschlager. What do you cover
Bortenschlager.
with? No Bortenschlager.
Yeah.
No KZ though. Yeah. Well, that's too easy. I'm not gonna dig at Andrew. It's okay.
I mean, what do you cover it with? I mean, listen, I get it. His leg wasn't injured. He at least from what I know about how teams treat quarterbacks, he really had not a great chance of catching on anywhere just because he's so small. Mm-hmm. He's under 6 feet and he's probably maybe 200 pounds. So, I mean, it was going to be a long shot anyway. Who knows? He could still catch on somewhere, but it's not likely. And I'm realistic when I can be, when I want to be, which is pretty often usually. But his odds of getting into the NFL were slim as it was. His system was great under Scott Frost. I mean, the dude can sling it like nobody's business. His release is unlike anything I've ever seen. It is so quick. And he is incredibly smart as a quarterback. But unfortunately, he's small. Freddie, we would love to have him in the FCF. Absolutely.
Do you
FCF
think that
fan choice football? It's a new spring league that started. It's unlike any of the other spring football leagues. But
what about the USFL and the I guess the new one that the Rock has,
XFL? It's the
XFL.
Yeah.
I think the USFL is starting already.
Yeah, it's already. They've already. The USFL is already kind of ran, and I'm sure Freddie's going to comment about the. I'm sure he's taking a look at the USFL. It's running all from Birmingham, Alabama, which I guess makes sense, saving money and stuff like that. And they've had a few. 3 weeks into the USFL, I think. They've had a few somewhat highlight reel things, but once more, it's a league for guys who are just trying to make it onto a practice squad or NFL roster of some sort like that.
I will say this though about the USFL, the Birmingham Stallions, one of their wide receivers is a former Knight, Marlon Williams. He's during the Frost and Heupel eras, and actually now that I think about it, the Malzahn era as well, we've had a lot of Swiss Army knives. Otis Anderson, rest in peace. Marlon Williams, and God, I forget his name, but we have a new one. We seem to have one guy who's a running back technically, but they can play wide receiver. Very much a hybrid position. So Marlon was one of those Swiss Army knives for us, and he's just balling right now. So, but getting back to the main point, what you were saying, I think he could be successful. I mean, if he plays somewhere, if he's given a shot, he'll do well. From all indications, his leg is fine, which is a miracle. I think with the USFL or the XFL or even FCF, the competition is a little bit smaller, a little bit less. So I think teams would be more willing to give him a shot there. Who's the former FIU QB?
Alex McGaw? Magoo? I don't know.
Mr. Magoo.
Could be Magoo. Yeah, Magoo. That doesn't surprise me. He was picked up a few years ago by not the Jets, the Seahawks. So yeah, I could see him. Also, former FSU guy. So yeah, I could see Casey getting on in one of those leagues. I think wherever he goes, he would be successful. But ultimately, I think where he's really going to make his money and impact is going to be when he becomes a coach, not if, but when. Because he's so smart as a quarterback.
Do you think he has the potential to, if he's not going to be a coach, could be like the Chris Winkie of after college, where he's basically training these guys into a combine, having the football prep that comes into and get paid big money to tell guys how to fix their mechanics, even though they were not successful at the college level, or I'm not in college, but on the professional level.
You could see that. His big thing, what I've seen a lot of issues, or I've heard a lot of issues quarterbacks have, is they have these long looping windups, which is supposedly not good. But somehow KZ is able to put unbelievable power behind his throws and with basically zero windup. So he could absolutely help there. Also, the mental aspect of it. I mean, if you're a guy who nearly lost your leg due to amputation, was able to come back, not just to be able to walk, but to actually play meaningful minutes in college football games, you've got some mental tenacity unlike any other. But even before that, he was just so smart as a player. I keep saying that, I know. But yeah, he could absolutely be a coach, whatever you called it.
Okay. All right, so we're at, let's see, we're a half hour in, and it's 7:37 right now. So I just want to give you guys a time. I'm trying to be better at this whole, like, getting us to know where we are time-wise. One guy from Florida State got selected, Jermaine Johnson II. So
yep, and rusher 32 for the Jets.
Yeah. So, yeah, going to the New York Jets, unfortunately. So congratulations to him, but unfortunately you play for the Jets. So they did the Seminole chop while after he got selected with his whole family there and everything. So yay, hooray! Well, we got a guy, I guess. I don't know of any notable Canes because I don't pay attention, but maybe Charles does. Not sure.
I mean, I didn't. It wasn't really a heavy draft class that I remember. All I know is Charleston, because last year was our year, to what I recall, because we had Gregory Rousseau and then Julian Phillips went to the Dolphins, and Rousseau, I believe, went to the Bills. But I don't recall them getting anybody in there. That's why I mentioned Charleston Rambo, who played well for us on the football team as a wide receiver. I think he had 1,200 yards. Last year, just going to it, but he was an undrafted free agent. And it's weird where you can see numbers that seem like they pop out, on the college level, and then when you're reading these supposed professional football analysts' grades on your guys, they go to Rambo and they're just like, oh, he's a tiny guy, can't get really big or anything like that, and all this other stuff, and he's just not the guy coming into it. He's undersized. I'm like, yeah, but he had like 1,200 yards. Maybe he knows how to run routes. Maybe he's a system guy. Whatever. The only one that was picked in the actual round was in the 7th round to the Packers, Jonathan Ford, defensive tackle. So that might be a guy who gets bounced around. But I think all three of us agree, I feel, for a defensive tackle, because it's such not a high demand position that you could literally be undrafted or in the low rounds and still make a successful football career. I think you get more opportunities. So even going to Andrew's guy, even though he might be playing behind Javon Kinlaw and a few other guys on that line, if you're a big fat boy and you know how to stop dudes from running up the middle, or if you get some speed and explosiveness, you'll have some good chances. So good luck to both our guys who were drafted and then undrafted.
Okay. Let's do a quick score update right here. Boston's up 42-25 against Milwaukee right now. 6:58 in the second. Then Golden State Memphis play later on tonight. Golden State won the first game. A very close game, but still they won the first game, which I don't know, doesn't bode well for Memphis. Of course, Draymond got thrown out of the game for... let's talk about this. Let's talk about this real quick.
Going straight to basketball. I can live with this.
I just want to talk about... I just looked up the score. I just want to talk about this real quick. We don't have to go deeper until later on, but just the whole Draymond Green getting thrown out for the flagrant foul. And we're going to look at it now and get some freaking opinions here. But, I don't know. Draymond
Jay Crowder just need Luka straight in the balls, like WWE style. So anything, if that didn't get ejected, that was intentional.
Yeah.
You can see guys from your peripheral vision, but grabbing a jersey, whatever.
Yeah, I think he grabbed it.
He grabbed it.
He grabbed it. That's a legitimate him trying to make the foul. But he didn't. He could have not helped it, because he knew what he was going to do, and he knew that he would have to soften it up by making sure he doesn't land too hard on the floor. So I think Draymond has done this calculated, but I feel like he didn't prepare for that actually being called a flagrant 2. And that's all that it was. That's all that it was. I don't think it's as malicious as many people think, because of course Draymond's history in the past, but it was still a foul that he meant to do.
So that's where Brandon Clark's kind of a little punk, because if you watched his post-game interview, it says, well, I grew up watching him, or I've been watching him. That's just a style of game. Not surprised. I'm like, come on, man. Come on. It's basketball.
Yeah.
There's a lot of bumping and shoving in between everything. And on the same day or a day after, I see what Jay Crowder, we miss you, Jay Crowder. Don't miss you right now. I missed you last year. Did to Luka, and then you have Brandon Clark kind of, I don't want to say it's the Messiah complex if I'm a victim of a flagrant foul from Draymond Green, but there's no support group, buddy. You don't meet on Tuesdays at 7 p.m. through a Twitch stream on a Facebook Messenger or on a Spotify Messenger or on any kind of messenger that's out there, Discord. It's just you go on. Alex Caruso would like to have words with you on what is actual dirty plays.
So we're showing it right now on the screen here, and that is a straight up him kicking out and just landing it right there in the face.
Markeith Morris would like to have a word with you, Brent. Like, you know who you need to talk to? You need to go into your history books from 4th grade, go to dinosaurs, and look at Parasolophagus, and you're going to see the main instigator of the flagrant Nikola Jokic. And guess who ain't going to stick around? Jokic.
Yeah.
Because he's trash. No. You're extinct. Just like the Parasolophagus.
Yeah. No, we haven't seen. We didn't even talk about the fact that they're not there no more. They're extinct.
Yeah, they got jump and sweep, trying to do too much, huh? East.
Oh man, so that's happening as well. Let me go to the other scores here. NHL tonight, right now, the Panthers and the Capitals are happening right now It's going on. You can see it on our screens here in the back, but whatever, to express written consent of Major League Baseball, whatever you want to say. So we've got that happening, and later on, right now, also the New York Rangers and the Penguins are happening. The Rags are up 1-0 right now in against in Madison Square. So
why does everyone call them the Rags? I don't get that.
I mean, I think it's just a shortened way of saying the Rangers, so the Rags.
Sure,
Broadway blue shirts.
The
It's
Rangs?
longer. No, it doesn't make sense. So Broadway blue shirts is a little too long as well. But either way, the Rags. And then
why do you have to abbreviate Rangers?
I don't know. They're from New York. I don't know. They're your people, man. You figure it out.
I mean, New Yorkers don't abbreviate. We really just enunciate every damn syllable. I think we actually, and mind you, I have the terrible portion of being from New York and then going a little southern when I moved to Polk County. So then when the yippin and yan come in, it's worse. But I think we would literally be like, all right, how many syllables does it have? How much can we elongate it to? It's right up there to the Boston accents.
Later on, Colorado and Nashville out in Denver, and then Dallas versus the Calgary Flames. And then we got baseball happening. Man, the Marlins are losing again. Sheesh, man. We had a freaking 7-game winning streak, and now it's just like, you know what, let's just erase all of that, and they have a 3-game losing streak.
7 games?
Yeah, well...
Amateurs.
No,
Amateurs.
We'll get to... You know what, let's do it now. Let's have Charles' Stroke Fest happening right now, okay? Major League Baseball standings right now. And they had... Let me go on to onto Twitter here, and we'll stop showing Luca getting kneed in the balls real quick. But MLB had their power rankings today, and we're just going to go to that right now. That's Ben Verlander's. We don't care. I'm looking for Major League Baseball's. Here we go. So this is the power rankings. Actually, no, this is from a week ago. What are we doing, Major League Baseball? Where's the new ones? Sheesh. Twitter, you need to get better with your search engine. I just want to search for the one thing that you guys showed me like 10 times this morning and I couldn't get away from. So, it'll be there. I'll find something. You know what? Let's just screw it. We'll just look at freaking Ben Verlander's freaking name. Justin Verlander's brother. He's got the top 10 here. His is the New York Yankees at the top. The New York Mets behind them, and then the Toronto Blue Jays, the LA Dodgers, the Angels, the Giants, the Brewers, the Padres, the Twins, and the Cardinals. I don't know how the Twins got there. I don't believe in any team in the American League Central. And Charles is gloating because what's it now? 10 games? Is a 10-game winning streak, Charles? That's what's happening right now.
A real team too.
What, the real the Kansas City Royals?
No, we beat the Blue Jays last night.
Oh yes, a division rivalry. The Blue Jays. That was what's happening. Where's the power? Gosh, man. Let me put latest on MLB power rankings. Maybe that'll show up because I think the Rays actually popped up on there too.
Well, the Rays are getting back into the stroke of things. So the Yankees love fest. I wasn't about it because you beat the teams that you're expected to beat when you're playing with Kansas, when you're playing the Orioles like 20 times in the first 30 games of schedule, what have you. So you're expected to win those. We split the series with Toronto, but we beat them last night. Now it kind of matters because formulas. But why I'm getting a little excited, why the Stroke Fest is happening, I've had many Rizzo Jizzos in the course of the season starting because the man has 9 home runs. 3 of them came in a single game. Aaron Judge is, putting on the work because he has 8 home runs and he didn't have to do a multi-homer game. And then more importantly, and this is the reason why, guys, I think I'm kind of coming back into gaming a little bit because I was in a deep depression. I've been able to give some cold jobs, not 1 but 2. And I think my game meter is associated to cold jobs. I'm almost certain about it. I thought about it because I didn't get into Metroid Dread until, a certain Garrett Cole got the job done. So I can get the job done. It's like that episode of South Park where Cream Fresh, where Randy just can't do it. And Sharon's like, can I try something? And then Randy's like, I don't want to cook anymore. That's how I feel. Instead of being down and pressed and trying new things, I just see Garrett Cole and to remind people, what's the rule of the Cole job? 1 run or less in his pitching unless he's pulled early for injury. So it was bad. And then it became good. And I became fulfilled.
Yeah, so here's MLB's power rankings right now. They still have the Dodgers at number 1, New York Mets at number 2, and then the New York Yankees at number 3. Then Toronto, San Francisco, Milwaukee, San Diego, Tampa, Angels, and then the Cardinals. So that's the current MLB power rankings. I can't fault. I mean, I can see the Cardinals bringing up the rear. That makes sense to me. Angels have done well to start the season, which is maybe this is the year they actually get it together, expanded playoffs and everything, and Mike Trout can actually get another shot at the postseason.
Name me a guy besides Christian Yelich on the Brewers when you get to that, and then they'll come all together for you.
Yeah, Minnesota and Milwaukee are leading the division right now, but I guess people don't believe in Minnesota as a top tier team. Gosh darn it, man! The Capitals are up 1-0. Damn it, Bobrovsky, get Knight in there. Okay, well, that threw me off, guys. I'm sorry. I'm completely sorry, Andrew. You're putting these hexes on us with the President's Trophy, making me think about it. Now I'm worried. Now I'm scared.
He got punished by losing 5-0 against what? The Blue Jackets? Was that who you guys played? Or
Montreal.
Toronto? Montreal? There you go. I'm a Brad Marchand guy. Okay? So our beloved Boston Bruins, all right? We were down against a bunch of jerks in the Carolinas, but I support you guys. It's okay.
Yeah. Whatever. Hold on, the review. I don't know. We'll look at that. And yeah, the Yankees are looking good. They're a likable team, and I don't like that. I don't like that at all. I don't like that Stanton's there, and I want him to be happy. You know, Anthony Rizzo's such a likable guy. Right?
Yeah, baby. We're part of the dog club now.
You have Nasty Nestor out there.
Yeah, Super Mario Nestor.
Yeah. So
and then, but you know what's best about all this? Boston really sucks, and it makes me happy.
That's true.
Trevor Story does not have a home run at all.
They're only one game ahead of Baltimore right now.
Oh, it's so good. And here's the thing about Boston and that whole organization. They're impatient as a motherfucker. We're talking about from Dave Dombrowski. Oh, I don't even know if he's still on.
No, he's the Phillies GM. Yeah,
he's the Phillies GM now. But whoever their new guy, they switch dudes so much now these days. And I know it's Chaim Bloom or something like that. I think it's that current guy. But you have guys in contract years. You have the fan base who had high-end expectations. You signed the shortstop that everybody wanted that was not Carrera. And nothing is coming of ilk. Your pitching is ass from the front to the back end. And it just makes me so happy because I'm on this hate train of Alex Cora can't manage a ball game. So my intent and goal is from them going to what they were second place in the East last year to be just as bad as the Orioles at the end of the season and to get Cora fired because Revenge Painmaker Tour did not work for you people when it comes to shifting the Boston Red Sox. Really, it's not the Boston Red Sox, but Alex Cora. But this year, we're on the Hater Nation Holleration in this Dancery tour. And part of that is going to be just hating on everything. Dave Chappelle, Haters Ball. I hate you. I hope all the worst things bad happen to you. That's going to be that man that I'm bringing in that energy for against Alex Cora. So I'm loving every bit of it. I think Trevor Story is a wonderful human being. I hope to God he doesn't hit a single home run at all this season. I hope all the bad things happen to Alex Cora and his managing and officiating of this team so he's fired. That's how intense it is. Is that being petty, Andrew? You've been quiet. Is that petty or do you agree with me?
I mean, anything goes when it comes to rivalries. So the only thing that I say it goes too far is wishing injury upon someone.
Well, I haven't said injury. Though we did have a debate on that, did we not?
I'm just speaking in general. As long as you don't wish injury upon them or say anything about their family, I think anything goes, in my opinion.
I think that's what we should do for a debate segment, because we did have the group chat. We'll do it on a different show or a different episode. But remember the group chat where just like injuries really, it's just a more of a pomp and circumstance.
Like right now, if Alex Ovechkin got injured or was out for the entire series, I'd be happy.
Yeah. It's all fair in love and war until it actually happens. Like if Joe Burrow only tore his knee,
I don't care how we get the cup, just get it somehow. I think
it also depends on the severity of the injury, and I think there's also a difference between
like the orbital bone of Joel Embiid.
I think there's a difference being happy that a player is absent, and I think you can be happy that a player is absent, but sad and feel bad about them having an injury. Especially
it's the Joel Embiid situation for us.
I mean, that's just my take. I'm sure a lot of people think you can't separate them. Mm-hmm. But my feeling is that saying I'm happy that he's gone is one thing, but saying that I'm happy that he's injured is another. Do you follow?
Yeah, yes. No, I get you.
Yes.
He'd be gone for the game, not the season.
Or the series.
No, the series.
I can be happy that he's gone for the series. I mean, there have been times where I'm like, thank goodness this player is not going to be playing against us.
I mean, I'm sure you felt that yesterday between the Leafs and the Bolts. You guys got spanked.
Yeah, but this one guy is getting a 1-game suspension. So like I'm bummed that Ross Colton had to get injured a little bit. He ended up staying in the game, which was, happy about that. I would be less happy about the situation if Colton was seriously injured. But I'm happy that this guy got a suspension, not only because
Kyle Clifford of the Leafs, by the way, that's who you're mentioning, who got suspended.
Because fuck that guy. There's one thing to be rough in a series, and it's another thing to board the guy from behind into the glass. Like you can't do that shit. Like if you watch the clip, I know Maple Leafs fans are like, boo.
I'm telling Andrew, I've been building this up. Leafs fans don't deserve anything nice. Okay.
I know they don't. But just I'm just saying also that their Maple Leafs fans are trying to defend the play. It's like, no, you can't defend that. If a Lightning player.
So here we go. I've got it on the screen here. So here's the play. Right there.
If a Bulls
right
player
there.
did the same thing, I wouldn't be defending him.
Yeah. And there it is. I don't know if you guys saw it right there. It came in from the back, and just as the camera's moving. But
I mean,
yeah, Colton is absolutely completely shaken up.
It's fortunate that Ross didn't get injured, because and imagine, well, he has to wear a visor now, but nonetheless, doesn't matter. He got face planted into the glass.
He did. Behind. There is some blood on him. On his nose, there was a cut on his nose. So here's the play. Here comes Clifford coming up, and he's completely vulnerable in this position right now. And it's especially ugly when you see it here. Hold on. Let's see if we can get a nice... I'll just pause real quick.
If a Bolt player did that, I'd say, go fuck yourself.
Here's Clifford in full stride, by the way. Full stride. So it's not like he was next to him and just kind of gave him a shove. Full stride towards them. Clifford gets the puck out of the way right there. So he's just shooting it towards the other end. Here, while all these other guys are battling for the puck. So here he is. He's not looking. Clifford, the puck's not there at this point. Clifford is still in full stride. He's still going to lay the hit. And he does right there on the numbers, by the way. Right on the numbers. Right into the glass and on the board right there. So, yeah, that was an especially egregious hit. And he did smash his nose on his visor. Ross Colton did. So, yeah, this is a good call. A good 1-game suspension. I think had Colton been more seriously injured, it probably would have been more.
I
Probably
agree.
would have been more.
I mean, I'll take it one game, and apparently he's a guy that's important to their team. He's one of their tougher guys. So, I'll take any kind of suspension that they dole out. But, thank God that Ross wasn't more seriously hurt, because he is very important to our team. He's one of those guys that gets the really grimy, nasty goals. He gets himself into a good position to get passes into the slot. He was actually the guy that scored the game-winning goal in Game 5 of last year's Stanley Cup, as a rookie, no less. So, I'm glad that he's fine. But yeah, seriously, if a Bolts player did a hit like that, I would not be happy with him whatsoever. And again, another thing is there are a lot of Maple Leafs fans who are cheering that and are wanting Bolts players to get injured, which, again, if you wish injury on – again, it's one thing to wish that a player is out of the series or the game, but it's another thing to wish them actually being harmed. And I think anyone who wishes harm on a player, they can also go fuck themselves.
Yeah. So let's take a look at speaking of dirty plays in hockey. Did you see this one with Jared Spurgeon from Minnesota?
Oh, by the way, one thing before I forget.
Mm-hmm.
Remember that tweet that you did the other day from the Sports Goose account after the Cats beat the Maple Leafs?
Well, yeah, I removed it. Don't worry.
But I want to say, for the record, I 100% agree with the sentiment.
I see. I knew you would come around. This is the other version. Evil Andrew. This is a different version in the Andrewverse.
Multiverse Andrew. That's the thing. Now we just call it like Multiverse Andrew.
I am a different person when it comes to the playoffs.
Yeah.
You got a shout out during the whole. So we encourage everybody to listen to the live draft episode because I thought that was hysterical. But I think that's when we're reading the messages about Hispanic Andrew.
Yeah,
we'll call him Suavemente Andrew.
I still have to the audio version. I still need to post it on there as a bonus episode. But I will. I'm just gonna cut out the part where I was alone and just get when you pop on because that's when it was most interesting. And we just go through my my DoorDash account and everything like that. But it was fun. We were reading off, yes, the Latino Andrew version. Okay, so here I just want to highlight this real quick because there's another dirty hit that happened at the end of a blowout by St. Louis over Minnesota. So look here on this play. So that's the captain of the Minnesota Wild, Jared Spurgeon. He's just moving the puck, clearing it there. And as you can see right here, plays over. The puck's nowhere near them. They're losing by a ton. They're at home. And obviously he's pissed off at the outcome of the game so far. And it wasn't even like this. The St. Louis player was coming in. He wasn't even laying a hit on him. He was trying to play the puck here. And this guy just clears it. And then Spurgeon, just in the heat of the moment, just angry at everything in life, cross-checks this man's ankles right there. Just full weight on the stick. And by the way, you're wearing your pads, but your pads aren't really your shin guards.
That's a lot of wood, man.
Yeah, I mean, or it's composite also, composite stuff material. It's hard. It's if you ever held a hockey stick, it's not fun to get whacked with one of those things. Let alone some guy putting his entire weight on it trying to break your ankles. And that part of your luckily the skates are very protective. They're very hard in the back. But your shin guards aren't really protecting really the back of your calves as much as the front. So yeah, he felt that obviously, but he's just kind of looking at him like, what the hell? Because this is a very intentional. This is intent to harm him. Like he's trying to get him to be injured right there. Okay. Like that stings. He might have rolled his ankle just a tiny bit, but could you imagine that could have been a lot worse?
Well, you're literally trying to cripple the guy.
Yeah.
It doesn't. All I need to see is one mobster movie to know what that bat's gonna do. Johnny ain't gonna walk no more. So are they even? Here's the thing. This is my question, and this is me being a.
So far, I don't think there's been a decision just yet on this. For this suspension, okay. So I don't know if it. I mean, it might just be one game if the other one got one game. I would assume it'd just be one game.
Yeah, because it's just one of those things where that is pretty intense, and I've already been hurt by league officials not doing the right thing when there's a clear act of violence.
Or he was fined actually. He was fined $5,000. That's all he was fined for. That was it. He was just fined and I guess not suspended. So
for being a brat.
So there you go. I don't know. I'm not sure.
That deserved a suspension.
Yeah,
at minimum.
And he may not have a history. I don't know. I don't know anything about the Minnesota Wild. Much like I don't know anything about the Milwaukee Brewers, except for Yelich and I forgot that pitcher's name, Hader, whatever. But aside from that, I don't know much about Minnesota. I know Marc-Andre Fleury's there. And that's
so I got a question for you guys.
And Kiprasov or whatever, the freaking defensive phenom over there.
Kaprizov.
Yes.
Kaprizov. Quick question for you guys. Nothing related to hockey. Do you feel that PowerPoints need continuous title slides, even if it's a continuation? Because I really think it's kind of pretentious.
Sorry, I was laughing for the lack of segue. Can you say it again?
But do you despise PowerPoints for having a continuous header that just say like continued? Because I really just kind of want to be like, here's the header, and then it'll be blank. And if there's a new section we're on or a subsection, it'll just pop up. Look, I'm just saying stylistically, if you're sitting in this with me, I don't think you need like 4 slides that say information of the process, and the next one, inform and continued, inform and continued, inform and continued. I'm just trying to make it as painless as possible. This is a proctology exam, and I got big fingers, okay? I don't, unless you want to know if I got big fingers. But I'm just asking stylistically. Marinate on that. Think on that. This is a sports show, not a hive show of benefit to Charles. Please continue.
Andrew, you would know more than I would. I don't
you sat in on PowerPoints, Francisco. Stop being the wuss.
I don't use PowerPoints. I don't do any. I don't present things. The only thing I present is the show.
But as a spectator.
As a spectator.
Well, what I do with my PowerPoints is I don't say continued. What I do is I just have the same header for each subsection.
I feel that's even worse. I would just be like, no header. And then when something new comes in, you'll see the underline. I don't know. This is, because I got peacock a little bit. I got peacock. I ain't no Trevor Story. I'm an Aaron Judge. We hit homers up in here. We get big money and big stats.
Well, I think this would be... I think this is a good time as any to go to the middle section to word from our non-sponsors, people, places, things, concepts, what have you, that we have been enjoying over the last week. So who wants to go first this week? I went first last time. I was very excited last time.
I'll go.
Alrighty.
I'll go because it's just time. When I say it's time because boy howdy, I've spent a lot of time on it, and it would have been the non-sponsor. Should have been the non-sponsor, but I can never give any seal of approvals, but until it's done. But you boys know I have a PlayStation 5. I also have a Switch. I also got Ramona, and I went into transition with Ramona where she had to inherit a couple of games. I was like, baby, these are my kids. They're just part of the package. She's like, baby, I'm brand new. I don't want to do some old dusty stuff. I only want the newest things. I don't want to go to the pawn shop. I don't want to go to the rental store. I ain't no Blockbuster material. I'm like, but you gotta understand, sometimes they're high quality. This is my prodigy child. I'm entering into the NFL. It's gonna make more money. So I finally beat, during our time off, Horizon Forbidden West, the sequel to Horizon Zero Dawn, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. It looked amazing on the PS5. It looked amazing on my Samsung television. It looked even more amazing on the blackest of black and the whitest of whites on the OLED that we had, the OLED. Brought to you by LG C1. Beautiful. Get yourself your own, even now. Sound quality was good, and it was engaging. 67 hours it took from start to finish, because it's one of those games where it's like, no, you just can't play the story. You want to upgrade everything. You want to kill stuff. You want to roam around. You want to see what the West looks like in, Nevada and California and everything of that nature. You want to be engaged by these side quests upon side quests upon side quests. You got to go to these cauldrons. And guys, I put 67 hours in. I know I didn't even complete it to a degree, but damn it, I still got to go and come back to it. But I got the main story done. And I enjoyed it for what it was, a primer. Because this is the problem sometimes, is a lot of things are always done in trilogies these days. I will tell you now, there is presumably going to be a third one in this. It has the suffering of sequel mentality where we up the ante, but we limit the substance. But the graphics were beautiful. The gameplay was beautiful. Story's kind of a mess. I'm not going to lie, especially in a very ham-fisted third act. But I enjoyed being part of Aloy's journey. Continue on, make me like characters that weren't really kind of there in the first game. Improve mechanics. Don't necessarily need an RPG skill branch all the time. This is the problem where we've had an oversaturation of same fundamental mechanics in different games because real recognizes real, that we don't create all the individuality. This is essentially about human beings in a prehistoric mindset in a modern day future fighting robot dinosaurs and animals. We can get behind that, but you don't necessarily require all these skill sets that you might see in other games in between. It's like Neapolitan ice cream. Yeah, you get all three different flavors, but none of them actually taste like the individual flavor itself. It's just baked. Story kind of holds back a little bit, but I cannot say that if I put 67 hours into a game that I did not enjoy it. I would give it an 8, maybe 8.5 upon revisiting. There might be some DLC. And I could even bump that up to a 0.5 to an 8.5 because I got it for what, boys? Free. Because that came out. It was on sale. It was like the last PlayStation game that you get the free upgrade from PS4 and PS5. So why spend the extra $10 when you get the $50 PS4 upgrade? And of course, my good boy Francisco and my good buddy Josh and everybody else, what do they like to get me for Christmas and birthdays? PSN cards or GameStop cards. And what tell you? I utilized that. So I got a 67-hour game for $0, and I got to keep some additional credits, which I use on Kenna Spirits, which might be my new game after Metroid, and I thoroughly enjoyed my time. And do I get a third one? Yeah, there'll be a third one that comes out. Does every game need to be a trilogy mindset? Absolutely not. If you think like Santa Monica Studios that's doing God of War Ragnarok, they're like, we're just going to make a big game, and you don't need a third one. My body's ready. That's what I got Remoted for. That's really what it is. That's really what I got PS5. But to bring back to Horizon, because I love the first one. We started it when COVID first occurred. And I was like, all right, I had it for like $15. Let's do it. It was so original. It was so unique. This takes the originality, uniqueness. It's high sci-fi, and it's a little bit different. Slog through 67 hours, but I didn't feel burnout. It's basically their attempt to do in Breath of the Wild. But I enjoyed it. Horizon, Forbidden West, get it. Get it whatever you can. It'll go down in price eventually. Promo code. Promo code Hephaestus.
Okay. All right. Do you want to go next, Andrew? You have something?
Sure.
All righty.
This is going to sound counterintuitive because normally, given the current what they're doing right now, I would say that Netflix a goon. But I will say that I want to give Netflix kudos for introducing me to the wonderful sport of Formula One. They have a series, which I think just did its 4th season, called Drive to Survive, which is admittedly an over-dramatized version of or look at different Formula One seasons. But, and a lot of people will tell you that it is over-dramatized, so it doesn't really accurately represent what goes on behind the scenes. That being said, it did introduce me to Formula One. And now that, well, and thanks to that, interest, well, aside from my personal interest in Formula One has skyrocketed in the United States. And a result of that is that the Miami Grand Prix sponsored by Crypto.com, is coming to this weekend.
Yep. Yep. It's here.
Practice Friday, qualifying Saturday, race Sunday, over in Miami Gardens. Very interesting. They call it a street course, but that's total bull. The only thing street course about it is that they put up the guardrails. But realistically speaking, it was purposely designed. Wasn't like using the existing street.
It's
structures.
an artificial design. It's like a Trackmania track or something like that. Yeah.
But I think the funniest thing, if you can pull up
I'm on their official website right now.
If you can pull up the yachts section, or look up Miami Formula One yachts. The funniest thing, holy moly!
Let me look.
It is so funny.
Gonna go on Twitter. I'll go on Twitter and see if I can find it.
Andrew, can you say yachts for me one more time?
Yacht.
I don't know if it's an accent or not, but I kind of love how he says it.
Okay.
Am I the only one who hears it differently?
I'm not sure. I just hear yachts.
You don't hear in different.
Maybe it's because he's Jewish and do you do that? Do you do that a little bit? I'm not sure. You went there. I did.
I show you one Curb Your Enthusiasm clip. I'm like, oh, Larry David would find this. Really? Sure.
I'm not offended at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So Miami Open or Miami Grand Prix, is it the Miami Grand Prix or Miami Open? I'm not sure. Miami Open's the tennis thing.
Correct. It's
Miami Grand Prix. I'm gonna put Miami Grand Prix or something like that. A look at progress on the Miami Grand Prix's man-made marina, the yacht club. This?
Yes.
Okay.
So, what is so funny about that is it looks like water, yes?
Indeed.
It's not. It's painted concrete.
Yes, because that's the thing. Okay, so this whole thing, this whole charade, we should have had Doug on the show for this one. This whole charade is they converted the parking lot of Hard Rock Stadium into a Formula One track. But they also need to they need to like temporarily make it that, but also remember that they need to also have it be a parking lot during football season. So they can't just literally dig a hole in this, make a big giant lake in the middle of a parking lot. So that's why they've done this.
But put a freaking inflatable pool in there or whatever.
Above ground pools. Just a line of above ground pools.
Someone made a meme out of it. Do you guys remember this viral video where this guy decides to jump onto ice to see if he would break through, and instead he like smacks his head and back and he just slides?
Wait. Oh, say that again.
Maybe.
Not sure. Say that again. Oh, this is the yacht club, and it's funny that the computer rendering has it have like a reflective surface and everything, like it's water, when it's not.
Hold on.
There is just concrete on the bottom there, as you can see the actual yachts being wheeled in. I guess they just paint the ground blue? Is that what they do?
Basically, I mean, closer, they put little darker blue parts.
Little buoys just hanging out. Okay.
So it looks like water from up close, but it's not. It's so funny.
So here's the fake water. It's like a reflective surface of a very blurry reflective surface to make it look like it's water. So there it is with the fake little pier that they have out there.
But like at that point, if it's going to be that fake, just freaking use something else. Make other use of it. Like it is so, and that's the other thing. Leave it concrete, yes, but like, you know, flood it with some water. Like actually put some water in there.
You're praising, because it doesn't seem very praising for a non-sponsor this time. Also, tickets.
Well, he was praising Netflix, right? Yeah. Or was he praising?
He was praising
F1?
Netflix, but not praising the Grand Prix organizers, or I guess Stephen Ross. Let's just blame Stephen Ross. Let's just do it, right? Let's blame Stephen Ross. I can get behind that.
And I also want to talk about how ridiculously expensive the tickets are.
I'm looking on. I'm on Ticketmaster right now, trying to find.
You're looking for no specific seat. They call it a campus pass. Ooh la la. Mm-hmm. Where it's basically you can just walk wherever, but you don't really get a chance to sit down.
So it's like a standing room only type of thing.
More or less. If you want to go the full weekend, all 3 days, $1,200. $500 for the race day, $400 for qualifying day, and then $300 for practice day.
Yeah, I have here. I'm just looking at tickets. I mean, if you want to go for one day for a certain time, I guess it's, you know, you can get something for $100. But if you want to see the whole thing, it's going to cost you a pretty penny. So, and that's kind of like the Miami Open in a sense, with the whole tennis tournament. But even then. I don't know. I mean, it's once a year, right? I mean, they're going to do this next year, obviously, if they spend all this money to do it. So I can see why someone who just likes Formula, like Doug or even you now, like, oh, save all money all year and just to go to this one event. So I can see that. And it's Miami. It's a trendy city. That's why wouldn't they do it? It's still relatively bearable outside. So I can see why they're such a high price for events like this. Formula One seems more hoity-toity compared to like NASCAR or something.
So is the difference is one's drinking Modelo and the other one's drinking Busch beer?
Yeah, indeed.
Although ironically, despite the hoity-toityness, the most prevalent sponsor for them is Heineken.
Ah, the neutral beer.
Okay.
But getting back to my point, it's still really cool to be able to say that there is a GP in my city that I could go if I could afford it. But nonetheless, even if there wasn't, it's a new sport that I enjoy, and really the only reason I can say that is because of Netflix. So thank you, Netflix, and also thanks to what you're doing recently about commercials and bumping prices. Go fuck yourself.
Evil Andrew is all over the place. Okay.
Promo code. Thank you, but go fuck yourself.
That's definitely the curb gift, because it's Larry David when he says, "Fuck you, I'll see you tomorrow," and he slams the door. Damn it! I can influence you all.
All right. It's
thanks to Charles, I'm tapping into my id.
Mm-hmm.
I call that more
no more Mr. Nice Andrew, or at least less more Mr. Nice Andrew.
Are you battle-hardened Andrew? Is that where we are now? The Darth Vader of Andrew. Darth Andrew.
I'm starting to There was an episode of Family Guy a few seasons ago where Stewie accidentally, doing a time travel, splits himself into two Stewies. One that is overly nice and like complete scaredy cat, and the other that is the pure evil of Stewie. So basically, your typical, split personality sort of thing. I'm starting to merge them a little bit.
That's frightening.
I'm becoming a more well-rounded Andrew.
All right. Yeah, let's gotta sharpen those edges there. All right, I guess I'll go next. My non-sponsor guys are the Florida Panthers.
Let's see if this lasts for a week, Andrew. Let's see if will go from non-sponsor to like, goon.
Yeah, well, we'll see. It's 1-1. They've tied the game. We're in the middle of the first intermission. We're all good. But this is more of a sentimental thing, more than anything else. And I'm gonna go. Let's see. Let me see if I can find my the thing. But yeah, the Florida Panthers. It seems like a cop out. Yeah, but it's not. I've been thinking about this for quite a bit. I was not literally looking around my room trying to figure out what I'm happy about, except for this disinfectant wipes. I wasn't doing that. But they're in the Stanley Cup playoffs, and the Panthers have had a very tumultuous history. Even when I only became a fan back in 2011, that's when I started becoming a fan. And they made the playoffs in their first season, and then drought, and then Yager and the crew got a playoff, and then drought again, and now we're here. And I guess it's like the same thing I felt with the Marlins when they made the playoffs back in 2020. Of course, 2020 was an interesting year for all of us. Very, very, a lot of things, really. So it was pretty emotional that the Marlins made the playoffs in that actual year. But, I mean, I've been covering hockey, and I put out a tweet on my Panthers historian thing, because that's what I'm doing now. I've got Marlins history, I got Panthers history, but I've been covering hockey since 2013, and I've been through a lot. I've seen a lot of Panthers hockey. In an official capacity, I've covered the team, and I would never have guessed or even thought that a team like this, an actual juggernaut, could come out of Sunrise. I never thought that could happen, right? I don't think it could happen with the Dolphins, and I sure as hell really don't know if I could ever see the Marlins be that. So I'm very, very surprised that the Panthers have a team that is literally the best team in the NHL in the regular season, winning the President's Trophy. And I've seen a lot of heartache and a lot of people just suffering, all of the jokes from people up north. That's why I say Toronto doesn't deserve anything nice, because go fuck themselves up there. And that's why I've always pissed off a lot of Canadians when it comes to hockey, because Canadians are assholes when it comes to hockey. And so I always defend that. Look, I defend the Sun Belt teams, right? Tampa and Florida, especially Arizona, Dallas, Nashville, Vegas, LA, Anaheim, Carolina, San Jose, all of these teams that play in Southern Belt cities. And we go through a lot of shit when our teams are down and people aren't showing up. But now when we win and we actually have good ownership, look what happens. Look what happened in Nashville. Look what happened in Tampa. LA's been good since Gretzky got there. He was the first one. Anaheim's good. Dallas is good, and now the Panthers have good ownership, and now we finally have the team to back that up. And this is honestly the second year of this team being actual contenders, but this is probably the first year where other people are actually noticing, especially down here. So I'm very happy for everybody that works for the team, people that I follow on Twitter that I've known work for the team since back when I started covering the team, and longer. People in the parking attendants and sales reps and marketing team, PR people, broadcasters, executives, And then the players, Huberto and Barkov and Ekblad and all these guys just went through just a lot of muck just to get to this point, and I'm very happy for them. And I'm very happy that I'm a Panthers fan and that I actually had the privilege to cover the team in official capacity. So it's been decades, almost 3 decades now, and maybe, just maybe, we finally get our one. Just win the damn cup this 1 year. Just that's all we need to, just like that New York Rangers when they hadn't won the cup for like forever, and then they won in '94. That big sign one of the fans was holding was like, "Now I can die in peace." I feel the same way. So hopefully they can do it, and yeah, promo code. Bring on the Rats.
Let me say this. Nothing is more satisfying than being, and I know it sucks at the time, but nothing is more satisfying than being a fan of a team going through a hard time and then seeing them be successful. I mean, for example, with UCF, they had that winless season. And then they go and win the national championship in 2017 and go on a 25-game win streak. Or Tampa, I know it seems like holy moly, they've been successful for so long, but when I became a fan in 2008, that was the year that we drafted Stamkos because we were the worst team, or we were one of the worst teams in the league. And then we were one goalie paddle away from potentially making it to what national championship?
God.
The final 11.
I mean, I think there was an alternate world where the UCF actually did win one competitively.
Oh no!
But,
Charles, not today. We've got evil Andrew on today, so.
Evil Andrew can still be evil, but facts are facts.
I don't know.
I'm going to let this one slide for the purposes of peace.
Peace. But yeah, no, it's.
Tampa had that really down couple of years. And then, of course, 2018, when we should have won the Eastern Conference, but then the Capitals beat us. Just that sucked. And then, of course, 2019. So the worse you feel about the situation, once it finally ends, the sweeter it gets.
Yeah. Charles, of course, a Yankees fan. He's never felt sadness before.
Well, I have. It's been 10 whole years since I felt
10
that.
years, yeah. Well,
you gotta understand. So what you guys are looking for is just the peak of the valley. I am drenched in the glory of the sun. I was always warm for so long, and then it just faded away from me. The hard part, I say jokingly aside, but the hard part is I was born in 1989. My earliest recollection of sport liking was being a Yankees fan around 4 or 5, and that's when they started the dynasty. The hard adjustment was going from winning 96, 99, 2000, 98, and then we get to the losing.
You're a freaking Yankee fan, and you forgot one of your World Series.
I barely know how to say my last name. But then we go into the losing of the World Series, 2001 with the Diamondbacks, and then the Marlins after that. And then came the very hard part. That was the real struggle.
2004 ALCS.
Yeah, 2000. Well, that was rigged. I don't care what anyone says. Like, seriously. It's always Yankees and the ALCS where it's rigged, where you have the Jimmy Fallon, who's not even funny, get a super little movie with Drew Barrymore, who's just, there as, entertainment for me for actual. She doesn't get enough parts, though. That's why because I remember we reflected back in the conversation, and I was like, I realized she doesn't get casted a lot. She got typecast in Charlie's Angels, and then no one really see her. And then she did the Netflix show, and they canceled.
You think Charlie's Angels on the typecast her?
Well, no. I'm saying that's all.
She got typecast as early as Wedding Singer.
Well, Adam Sandler, like, lock picks everybody, so it's okay. Or not lock picks, but handcuffs.
Well, remember, she had trouble, with drugs.
She
and
was also an
stuff,
ET.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's the thing is Hollywood's very much flavor of the week. There's actors and actresses who win. Octavia Spencer's one that they could win an Academy Award. They have shown you that they got the goods, but you're just in for that role. You'll get an opportunity. Anyway, to bring it to the point, because we're really going off far track here. The difficulty on the influx is when you're basking in glory, and then you're falling down from the sun, and then you become very cold. Prometheus has taken the fire away from me. What can I do on that? So I can understand wanting to, because in all my other sports, I don't know the spectrum of success. Being a Heat fan, it was kind of like it came out of nowhere, and it was like, okay, we just have to enjoy this moment while we can, right? Francisco really was.
The 06 one.
Yeah, the 06 one, and then, I'm talking about also LeBron time.
Oh, the big three? Yeah, no, just,
you're just like, it's basically,
that's probably,
LeBron time was looting and rioting where you were going to get arrested, but there's 100 people doing it, so you're probably not going to get
Yeah.
And then for Tennessee hasn't won anything. Last year was, or like 2 years ago when we went to the AOC Championship, or 3 years ago, that was the culmination of my success as being a fan, because I didn't get into football until a little bit later having a team. So that was harder. So I get it. But also you don't want what I had endured to get that sustained success, because you're next on it, Andrew. If it happens, you can only go so long with this window with this whole team that you have, and then salary cap constraints, old age, and retirements, and then become shunned. And it's fun to be remembered in the annals of history for the first 10 to 15 years, but then when they have the lofty expectations, they just forget about you. I hate it, guys. I'm so depressed in life. I need Garrett Cole to do things for me.
Okay. All right, guys.
I mean, that's why I'm okay with our very much lack of draft picks, because...
All right, guys. Let me interject real quick. I have to sing happy birthday to my niece, because that's happening right now. So you guys take over the show for a little bit.
We can all do this together.
All right, and we'll go from there. So you guys take over. I will be back. Just give me a few minutes.
Okay, let's do a segue section where we can make it fun, Andrew.
Okay.
So, hear me out. Tell me, have you ventured into any of the weird wrestling stuff that I have sent you in the chat?
I've not.
You're killing me. You're killing me. Because it's one of those things where I can control the cage, but when you're going to somebody who doesn't know wrestling, and all you know is the generic stuff like Cody and all that stuff, and that's fine, but then you get like the really weird stuff that comes in that I might send you guys, and I just I bait and I wait, and I just stand there and I twiddle my thumbs. It's like my way of doing to learn a goof of what a good promo is, what a good action scene, or even I think I've sent you guys some move stuff where I'm like, holy crap, how did that person break their neck? And I bring it up because what I'm noticing is that I don't watch the Young Rock on Peacock or NBC Universal, whatever it is, but now they do a lot of flashbacks of old guys in wrestling that he was there for. So they casted a Young Rock version of Taker, Young Rock version of Triple H, Young Rock version of this guy. So it makes me wonder if that streamline will bring people back to go and watch the old WWE days or WF days or in the Attitude Era who weren't there for it. They're revisiting, they're doing some fun stuff with it. And then my part that I try to do is when I spam the hell out of you guys, because what happens is I do my nightly Twitter run, and I spam you guys every single thing known to mankind. I'm like, look at this crazy stuff. It makes sense, but I just can't captivate the audience, just like how I can't captivate this goddamn PowerPoint. The good news is we're 35 slides in, so I think I'm almost done wrapping it up because I put some bullet points in to expand on in combo. But I got 50 minutes. It's usually about a minute a slide anyway, and I go on wild tangents. So we're making progress there. But let me ask you another question, Andrew. And this one is sport related, not wrestling related and PowerPoint related. Are you ready for this?
Let's do it.
All right. So do you think watching NASCAR, or not NASCAR, but watching F1 would make you even invested or interested in watching NASCAR?
Well, I used to be a NASCAR fan back when I was a kid. Mark Martin. I learned so many different sponsors from that, like Valvoline, Haviline, all the leans. Texaco. But anyway,
could you watch it now?
No. I mean, admittedly, a lot of people say that it's kind of lost its luster recently.
Mm-hmm.
But the other thing is, the thing that's interesting about Formula One for me over NASCAR is you have more. I get it; it's a circuit, but it's a circuit with turns and elevation changes and like pit strategies. I mean, I know you have pit strategy, but it seems it's a lot more nuanced than NASCAR. So that's kind of what makes it interesting, as opposed to Formula One interesting versus NASCAR, for me at least.
See, I couldn't get into it. When I moved to Florida, I went to Polk County, and that's very hillbilly gumption is what I'll say. And it got me into, it could be one of three things of selection: meth, which we don't do, wrestling, which we love, and like NASCAR as the other option. And I had a neighbor, I don't know if it was Mr. Murphy, but it was more of an elderly guy that we would go, and he was a big NASCAR friend. No, not Mr. Murphy. It was my buddy's dad, Ed. There we go. They loved NASCAR. They had everything there. And then when you would go over and see him on like the race games, would it be Bristol or a few other ones, they'd go crazy for it. And I'm like, man, I don't know what any of this is enticing people. Because to me, races shouldn't be long. They're not a sense of endurance. It should be, your video game tempered, where it's done in 3 minutes or less, right? So it would be kind of tough. And then you'd be like, all right, I can get the explosions. But if you're like 8 and you like it, it's one thing. But I couldn't imagine being 32 and enjoying it now. But I know there's some people who are, and I just don't know. And I think maybe it's because you're appealed to the racers there and the competitors, and maybe you like those people. Like you think about Dale Earnhardt Jr., Dale Earnhardt himself, Richard Petty, all that. But I don't know if you can ever get me as a casual fan into it, and that's why I'm surprised about the F1. So what invested you into the F1?
It's a good question.
I don't think you talked about it, so I was like intrigued, and now I can kind of do my interviewing process on you. So this is good.
All right. Well, give me a second to think about it.
Because I think it's like me who got weird with like sumo wrestling for a bit. Like there was like 2 months where I loved it, and then I just kind of forgot about it because it was just something about it. I got curious about it. I saw something on like YouTube. I'm like, I'm gonna deep dive the shit out of this, and I'm like,
well, in the same vein of how you like wrestling for the drama,
mm-hmm.
And how a lot of people like reality TV because of the drama. As I mentioned, they really over dramatized Formula One, and that's really what got me into it initially. It was just like, wow, this is so intense. Like, that was initially what got me into it, was that the drama part of it. But after I looked into it more, I learned more about the personalities, the history, things like that. It just kind of hooked me. And at that point, even though I don't really care about the drama of that TV show anymore, I've been hooked,
Yeah. All right. So basically it's because you end up liking the individual.
Yeah.
Or that racer.
Well, yeah, I'm a fan of Daniel Ricciardo, but the other thing is NASCAR has become so convoluted with its championship system. Like, you get wild cards, and there are races that are like 3 portions, playoff. It's a lot easier to follow along with Formula One. Whoever has the most points at the end of the season wins.
See, to that, I don't even know. That's what surprises me. I think part of that too is you rely sometimes on other media to help jump up that. Like there was Ford v Ferrari, which got people into that a little bit, and then there was another movie with Chris Pine that was about like Formula racing. I'm gonna Google that. Going from there, Formula One movie, so maybe that can jump into it. Not Chris Pine.
I was listening to you
Rush?
guys.
Chris Hemsworth. Rush. That was the movie. Yes, you. I hear you.
Yeah. You guys talking about the difference between Formula One and NASCAR?
Well, I want to know what first off, what got Andrew to like Formula One, and could Formula One translate to him liking like NASCAR? And then I asked him if he watched any of my wrestling stuff, and he was like, "No." I was very.
I feel like the demographics. I don't know. Demographics would be different. I'm not into racing, but I feel like demographics are different between the fans of NASCAR and the fans of Formula One, right? It'd be like
probably yes.
You know,
do you feel that NASCAR has an inherent sense of racism? That's why you can't support it.
No, that's not it at all.
All right.
I mean, it certainly has a checkered past. I mean, look at how many they had to ban Confederate flags.
Yeah. And the whole Brandon thing
came from it.
Yeah. So
I don't think the sport in of itself. I don't think NASCAR in of itself is racist.
Just the fan base.
But certainly the people that follow it have a tendency to be racist.
That's kind of been that's NASCAR's biggest challenge, is that they lean so heavily on that demographic for so long that there came a point where they needed to, of course, capture new fans, right? And it's going to be hard to capture those fans if you're a minority and you don't feel welcome at a NASCAR event, or even if you're white but you're white of a different tendency and you're definitely not going to be comfortable there with all the sort that hang out at NASCAR events. So it's been pretty hard for them, as comparison to Formula One, which is like an international thing, right? And you have all kinds of different nationalities.
Like beautiful looking people driving cars. It made me feel inadequate.
I mean, you have a freaking Grand Prix in Monaco, or San Marino, right? That's another. Is that the same place? Am I talking about
one in San Marino? But there is one in Monaco.
Yeah.
Here.
Like these fancy places that only the people with money can get to those areas to watch a NASCAR race.
I think that's also another appeal.
Formula One, sorry.
Because as a America. I mean,
it's American, okay.
I mean, I know America is certainly. I think it could fit like 30 average-sized countries into the continental borders.
Right.
And considering the differences in climate and topography, like the United States in of itself is like several countries. But
could you imagine the different types of Formula One tracks you could do too? Yeah.
But like, it's much more fascinating to, see a race in Azerbaijan, and then follow that with a race in Monaco, follow that with a race in Austria, follow that by a race in Italy, follow that by a race in Singapore. It's what was our old segment? What
do you mean, like Uncultured Swine? Or Where in the World Was Doug?
Well, that, I guess, Uncultured Swine as well.
Dougie San Diego.
Yeah.
You get to see all these very fascinating places, and I don't know, just something about that is also appealing.
Mm-hmm.
The downside is a lot of the races start really early, and I really don't like getting up that early. Your typical start time is around 9 a.m. Eastern on Sunday.
Mm.
And like, I don't want to wake up that early. Because the races start, I think, around 3 p.m.
Oof, Aaron Judge hit another homer, boys. Oof.
Panthers are up 2-1.
But anyway, yeah, so I think that's part of it. Whereas you've got a race, NASCAR, you've got races in Homestead, Talladega,
Daytona.
Daytona. It's like, all right, fine.
And they're all similar looking
look
venues.
the same.
Yeah.
Those tracks look the same, and the ones that are more exciting are the race course tracks where they have to go into the infield and make turns and
really
stuff.
The only one that I like, Daytona, of course, because it's Daytona, right? And then Indianapolis, because it's historic. Those are the only of note that I can say that I like as far as tracks are concerned.
And then these tracks, comparatively to other racetracks, like Monaco's been going on since 1930.
I'm gonna look up a list of all the different Formula One tracks.
Oh damn! I forgot NXT was doing a pay-per-view thing.
Andrew, are you still there?
Yep.
Okay. No, keep talking. I'm just gonna look it up while you speak, so we can look at all the places.
And don't forget, there are tracks that have come and gone. The Nürburgring, San Marino, as you previously mentioned. They're thinking of bringing back a race that was in South Africa.
Oh, this is a cool entry on Wikipedia. So they have the list of the Formula One circuits, and they have all the different track layouts too. So you got Adelaide in Australia.
Now they're in Melbourne.
Ain Diab Circuit in Casablanca, Morocco. Ain't Tree. Oh no, these are the ones where they've been held. So the one that's held the most Grand Prix is the Autodromo Nazionale di Monza in Italy.
Yep.
And then Monaco's the second one. Then Silverstone in UK. Then Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps in Belgium. Nürburgring in Nürburgring, Germany. Circuit.
I'm not even going to make an attempt to try and say those words.
Circuit Giverny over in Montreal. Andrew's just like, you are butchering these. Autodromo José Carlos Pace in Sao Paulo, Brazil.
You almost sounded Italian saying that.
Hockenheimring over in Germany. In Hockenheim. Hungaroring in Hungary. Hungaroring. Red Bull Ring in Austria. That's an easy one. In Austria. Circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya in Montmello. Circuit Zandvoort, Suzuka International Racing Course in Japan. Autodromo, what does the red mean? I'm trying to find what the red means. Current circuits. Okay, so these are the current circuits that I'm listing off here. Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez out in Mexico City, and Melbourne Grand Prix Circuit in Melbourne. Bahrain, which we had talked about in the show in the prior with that guy with that horrendous crash, and he survived because of that halo ring. Circuit Paul Ricard, so that's another one. Yas Marina Circuit in Abu Dhabi. And you can see, like, especially the ones with water, those always look pretty cool, right? You get all those ocean views. Marina Bay Street Circuit in Singapore, of course, that's going to have some great ocean views. Circuit of the Americas, which was previously the only American circuit, right, Andrew, until this one?
Well,
in Austin?
There have been other U.S. circuits.
But the only current one beforehand.
But now, starting next season, they're going to be adding one in Las Vegas.
That should be interesting. That should be cool. They're
going to actually use the Strip.
Yeah. And then they're calling the Hard Rock Stadium one the Miami International Autodrome.
Correct.
So there we go. Okay, guys, we're at 144. So I do want to head on over to the cage, but Andrew, you've seen this, but Charles hasn't, and this has been planned. This is the newest portion of the virtual studio under construction, but now it's been permanently placed. Okay, and we're getting ready. Charles, are you ready to feast your eyes on my masterpiece?
I am ready.
All right, Andrew. So here we are. So welcome everybody to the cage. Welcome everybody to the cage. Charles, Andrew, we can give them a bit of a tour before we actually start.
I actually have that Ric Flair pop in case you guys are wondering if I've never shown it to you. I do have it.
Wow.
That has been on my desk.
Wow.
I have it right here in front of me.
So welcome to your new cage.
He even has sumo wrestlers, Andrew. It's like he heard us on the go away.
So I put the two images that you requested, and I didn't want it to feel. I decided to go with like a Victorian theme for it, because I'm like, it could be like like other wrestling shows and have like the sleek look. I'm like, nah. I feel like Charles talking about these things would need a little bit an air of sophistication for the contrast between the subject matter, and I felt that was most funny to me, at least. So I felt like you would appreciate that. We have Victorian chandelier hanging from the top. Of course, the image of Spider-Man in the wrestling right there.
The Bonesaw, Macho Man Randy Savage.
Yes, right there. A New Japan emblem thing that I saw. El Santo, one of the most famous Mexican luchadors of all time. Some classic Japanese artwork with some sumo wrestlers, of course. Okay, we've got an NWO. It's a WCW belt, spray painted with the NWO. Right? I'm sure you understand the symbolism behind this.
Yes.
You get the TNT belt because it doesn't exist anymore, but it's there.
It exists. It exists still.
Oh, but it's TBS now, right?
Yeah, but it's still the TNT title.
Oh, okay.
The TBS championship. I actually will. I will bring that up to speed when my opening comes in.
We've got, of course, Jesus Christ. Well, as you can see, Macho Man Randy Savage is about to visit the Lord and Savior of the world there. We're just saying that, of course he's ascended to heaven.
He died on the rapture, baby.
We've got the I found this diva because we need to give one for the lady, so we got a Divas belt here. A New York Yankees wrestling belt with the core four with the False Prophet, Mariano Rivera, Andy Pettit, and Jorge Posada. So there you go. With the
I guess me a little tingly in my pants.
Yeah.
And a few other Easter eggs around.
Yes. Below that is Andrew's contribution to this, Charles.
The UCF one. Well, it's okay because every title. Here's the thing. I can address on that. There's your main event title. There's your mid card title, and there's your lower card title, and that's why it's a lower card title.
Oh boy. Of course he had a retort. Of course.
What the hell is on the counter?
Okay,
right
and on the far right is one more belt. Is another WCW World. I forgot which light heavyweight championship belt. I'm not sure.
They're not their cruiserweight belt, but I think that's what's the far right. I'm talking about on the
okay.
The
so
table.
on the fireplace, we've got your PS5, of course.
Yes.
We've got WrestleMania 2000 for the Nintendo 64.
Excellent choice.
WWE SmackDown vs. Raw 2008 for the PS2.
Correct.
WWE Crush Hour for the Nintendo GameCube.
Didn't play, but now I'll revisit it.
A Roman Reigns action figure.
We love the Tribal Chief. I have the Needle Mover shirt. We love it.
Of course, a Nintendo Switch.
Yeah.
So there you
Makes
go.
me happy.
And of course, on your table, we've got a Greco-Roman sculpture all the way to the far left on your table there. Of course, your beloved Ric Flair Funko Pop. The other stuff on the table, I don't know. It's like a guy riding a horse. I don't know what was there. You got a pair of glasses, a little globe there, some ancient books, right? Because you study the ancient works of wrestling. Okay.
Correct.
And then this is another one of Andrew's contributions. Originally, because of so many various ways that you celebrate your favorite athletes, it was going to be a bottle of lotion.
Okay, I thought it looked like a tub.
It is a tub. It's a tub of spider tack.
Oh, that's fine. I thought we were
get that
going to
grip.
a different kind of R rating, but different sticky substance. But I approve of everything of this.
Yes.
I even like the little chandelier.
And then of course we've got the another a much larger Greco-Roman statue that is a bit homoerotic, but you know what, we accept all people of all kinds of orientation and things like that. And then it's just, once again, going to the things that we love about wrestling is meat slapping meat,
Meat slapping meat.
just
Meat
men
slapping
being
meat.
men.
Men being men. Meat
Yeah, or
slapping
women
meat.
being women, however you want to do it. And then, of course, I got the score crawl embedded into this thing, and of course, the fireplace.
And it's Ramona, so that makes me happy.
And it says Ramona as your screen. So this is the cage. This is your new set. And Andrew's going to get one soon. I got to start working on that. He said for me to surprise him, and I got to figure out where to go with that.
I mean, I have a tear in my eye. Take it away. Welcome, everybody.
Yeah.
Your weekly Truplex, The Cage with Charles. Full disclaimer, wrestling is not fake. It is scripted. It's a stage fight. It's meat slapping meat. People chasing championships, establishing their legacies, beating the holy hell out of each other. It can also be ballet, poetry in motion. Be damned what Billy Graham, the superstar, says. I say what I want. It's my show. I do what I can, right? It's about people just not liking each other, which I always enjoy. But also, it's a soap opera. Andrew and I talked about it. I got to get invested in the drama. TNT, we know drama. CET, we like drama. As you see in my beautiful little highlights, I'll take a moment to kind of explain championships because we kind of talk from there. WCW NWO, that was the WCW World Heavyweight Championship. I actually have one in my room hidden somewhere because, I bought like 2 championship belts when I passed the bar. And then I always loved the WCW title. But that's when NWO invaded and Hollywood Hulk Hogan got the title. And spray painted it, and that was his own because it was NWO taking over. TNT Championship. What a way to start. And I think that's how we're going to start it because it's going to be a predominantly WCW. No, it's going to be a predominantly WWE segment, but we'll touch on a few things here because WrestleMania Backlash is this weekend. I'm still kind of battle fatigued from everything that's happened in the last week or so with wrestling and all that stuff. We talked about the Forbidden Door, but AEW did have a championship change, and it was the TNT Championship on last week's Dynamite with Sammy Guevara, who is now the 3rd time being WCW. Got it in the mind. TNT Champion, defending against Scorpio Sky in the ladder match. Scorpio Sky wins it. He is now a 2-time TNT Championship. So the TNT Championship is really supposed to be like the mid-card title. And when we say mid-card title, it doesn't mean a bad thing. It just means that you're not the main event scene. You might be the guy who opens the match. You might be the person who's in the middle of the match. You might be the person who's invested in the story and segue through. But it's where a lot of your talent and bread and butter situate themselves in there. Because not everybody can be a main event guy. But some people can be, a majority of them can be the mid-card guy. But the TNT Championship did change hands. It's lost a lot of credibility since Rusev lost it. Well, he's not Rusev anymore. Forgive me. Miro lost it. Follow us on Twitter, Miro, Charles the True, Dan Frijoles, FJOJR, Sports Goofs, all that fun stuff. But ever since he lost that belt, it's just kind of hot potato too much. It was Sammy Guevara who had it. He defended the title several times. He lost it to Cody Rhodes, that Cody over in WWE. And then he beat Cody again in a ladder match to get it. And then he lost to that man, Scorpio Sky, at Battle of the Belts, and then won it back when he low-blowed Scorpio Sky, and he only defended it one more time after that. Now Scorpio Sky has again. I have not liked how it's been handled because titles, you can give people titles, but when you hot potato a championship, especially between just 2 people or even 3 people, it might lose its little bit of the credibility. Why does it lose the credibility? Because the person defending it doesn't establish it, doesn't build it, does not build the foundation. You could plant the seed, but if you don't soak the soil, the seed just stands still. They need to do better for it. Plus, the title has kind of been through the rigor of being ugly. We don't like ugly championships, boys. We like things that look pretty, and it has done many changes. Part of it was because it was an incomplete championship when it was first announced, and then Brody died, so we kind of gave that away, right? The original to his son. They did redesigns. Darby had for a bit. Miro beat him, changed the red to the green for whatever reason, because it was supposed to be part of his Bulgarian heritage and everything like that. Then he lost to Sammy, and then he was like Sammy two belts. Whatever. It's still ugly. TBS title isn't better either, but the TBS title is the women's mid-card championship. So that's your differentiation of it. I always thought they should just call it TNT Dynamite title and put like dynamite sticks, because it takes away the sense of ass kissing.
Yeah.
But what do I know? I'm just some schlub who's in a white tee talking about wrestling. But they need to do better with that booking. But as you know, they're in full swing and effect leading into Double or Nothing, which is May 29th, later this month. The big headline match that you need to know about right now is CM Punk versus Adam Hangman Page. That will get its time when it's time. We will speak on that. It will be good. There's other matches that are going on there that will be building into it. Other news, and here's the thing. This is be interesting. We've been talking about AEW for 3 years now, right? Now people are starting to leave. Not getting fired, but they're not getting their contracts renewed. Cody Rhodes, he went to where? WWE, making that big money, being in a main event feel event. We'll see how long that lasts, but there's been a couple of people who've had their contracts not renewed by Tony Khan, who is the owner and booker of everything. So Marco Stunt, who was part of Jurassic Express, didn't get his contract renewed. Joey Janela, who he was named to fame as the indie wrestling over in GCW, which is Game Changer Wrestling, known for their death matches. He didn't get his contract renewed. But more importantly, and this is interesting to me, Stu Grayson of the Dark Order. He teams up with Evil Uno, the Dark Order that had Brody and they were funny, and I would send you the being the lead stuff. He was the bald guy with the war paint going on. His contract expired. He's off the AEW roster. They couldn't come to an agreement of money. So you're talking about like a pseudo foundational guy that was kind of there since day one. And Cody left, and we know Cody left because I think bigger money, bigger opportunities, right? But now you're getting other people coming in. What was AEW doing for the last year or so? They were just signing everybody that WWE fired. And if you say, Charles, you're lying. I'm like, no. Ty Conti, she was a WWE cut. Miro was a WWE cut. Keith Lee, WWE cut. Aleister Black, who's now Malachi Black, WWE cut. Daniel Bryan let his contract expire to come to WWE, or AEW, not WWE. Adam Cole, baby, left WWE to go to AEW. Granted, his fiance is there, Britt Baker, so I understand the competitive interests versus being with your wife 24/7 or soon-to-be wife 24/7. But you signed a whole bunch of people, FTR, all this other stuff. Granted, it comes and goes. We're going to talk about budget cuts. But what does this mean for WWE? Because here's what I want you guys to consider too. Tony Khan did what? He also bought Ring of Honor. So you have these expiring contracts, and you can't send those AEW guys down to Ring of Honor because I don't know if it's going to be a connected world, a separate world. I don't know if it's going to be like, how's the best way I can explain this to you without losing my masculinity? Shit, I'm going to do anyway. I used to watch General Hospital, and they had a spinoff called Port Charles, where sometimes you had cross characters but set in the same world. In that sense, are you going to treat it like that? There's no clear out definitions. You know that you have Ring of Honor wrestlers coming on, but Samoa Joe.
Let me ask you just a genuine question. We're at 158 on the show, but I just want to get a clarity because I know WWE has SmackDown, they have Raw, right?
Yes.
Like those. What's AEW's? I know Dynamite,
but that's the thing. What is it really, right? Because there's AEW Dynamite, which is their 2-hour show on TNT.
All right.
And there's AEW Rampage, which is their 1-hour show on TBS. I'm sorry, TBS has Rampage. Damn it, I get confused. TBS has Dynamite, TNT has Rampage 1 hour. But they don't utilize Rampage to truly develop current storylines, which I think they need to do. They just kind of put random matches in there. Right now, they're doing the Owen Hart qualifying cup, and the reason why I haven't spoken on that, even though I love brackets and tournaments and stuff like that, is because they haven't released the full competitors, and they're all qualifier events. Even though I still have to read and watch, watch Dax and Cash Wheeler's match. Their tag team partners for FTR. They had a match going on, and apparently it was amazing. I'll get to it when I get to it. But right now, really, to me, it's still Dynamite, and then the YouTube stuff that they put on. Not Elevation or Dark, because that's just dark matches but they'll do like YouTube promos and things like that, little video logs or being the elite, which will propel the actual storylines, which is kind of tough because it's its own separate thing, probably cheaper on the cost, but not for the ratings, right? So
yeah, because you would have to commit to everything. Okay, now I have to log on to YouTube and see all that stuff, And
well,
I guess
this is the concern, and this is more of a business sense structure, is that Warner Brothers owns TNT. Warner Brothers just merged with Discovery, so now they're Warner Discovery. What does that mean for the fate of wrestling? Because they're going to still have sports, but Dynamite brings in about close to 1 million views every Wednesday, and they hit the demos for what it's worth. I think that Warner and Discovery are beyond that because now they want to see what the streaming services are. I feel that's why Tony Khan bought Ring of Honor, because there's the entire library of a wrestling organization that was around for 15 years. And that could lead to competitive interest of owning that library, letting it be a platform, having subscriptions. And, Warner Brothers are smart people. What they're going to do is they're going to do tiers. They're going to be like, oh, do you want the standard stuff? Do you want the sports stuff? Do you want the all access stuff? Do you want the wrestling stuff? Boom, 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 boom. That might have actually saved their life support. Because here's the thing about right now with Ring of Honor, they do not have, to my knowledge, a broadcast television right. So Tony Khan brought something with the library, and then he'll use the platform for AEW for Ring of Honor matches, but there's no weekly television segment for Ring of Honor right now. They used to be part of Access TV or Sinclair Broadcast. No, I think Sinclair owned them, but they used to be on Access, but you don't have that now. So the idea is now that you own jointly, can you put both your shows on a single channel provider to sustain your viability of existence? I don't know what the big networks want anymore because it's changed from 10 years ago, guys, when ratings mattered more, the Nielsen ratings mattered more. Now we're in the edge of the industry of streaming where the numbers are calculated differently. It's not just about how many times you watch it. It might be how many times you do the rewatch of it, correct? And are you buying packets of benefits? So this might be for viability. But AEW, it's interesting now they're going to have people leaving. Mind you, the people who leave AEW who don't have their contracts renewed, I don't expect they go to WWE. But just because WB is very selective, and right now his mandate, his edict is to get for the future, for the next 10 years. So they want young people who are experienced. And we'll segue into WB. People were fired. Ow!
Yes.
NXT
you were not happy about something. Yes.
I was not very happy about it. And that's just from NXT, which is, the minor leagues in that sense, where Vince is trying to make it into the proper farm system to call up for the main roster. Main roster cuts are coming. Guarantee that. And I will say, hindsight's 2020, and it hurt when certain people were cut. However, it's working a little bit because there's not much bloating, so you can kind of show around people. But if you cut it down too much, Vince, just to the whittlest of whittle, you're not going to be able to fulfill 3 hours on Monday, 2 hours on a Friday, and get me invested for a pay-per-view because there's not going to be enough people left. And NXT, who they cut, Loomis, I understood. I felt like they weren't going anything. Dakota Kai, the rumors are that she didn't want to be around. And mind you, these are people I like that I'll support wherever they go, because wrestling now, it has a touch point phenomenon. It's not football where all you have to watch is the NFL, and not like basketball, all you really got is the NBA. What it is like acting in the sense of like, okay, this was my favorite character on a TV show. He got killed, but I like that actor, so I'll follow them in the next movie they go into, or the next show they do. Oh, hey, they're doing a spinoff of Saul Goodman from Breaking Bad. We're gonna Better Call Saul. We're gonna watch that. That's cool. That's how I treat it. If I know that talent's real, and we go from there. But I'm just gonna give the shout out now. Malcolm Vivens, Stokely Halfworth, or whatever his other indie names were, coming into it. He was let go. He was the leader of Diamond Mine. I find him hysterical. I send you guys some stuff on Twitter. I feel that he is my spirit animal in that sense. His release video was hysterical. He's like, a lot of people have been asking about stuff, what I'm going to do. I was on my way to get some Zaxby's, and I just want to say what I will miss. And he mentioned Xylee. It's like, Miss Xylee, Godspeed, baby girl, Godspeed. He's hysterical. I'm just giving him the shout out now. Best of luck to everything that you do coming into it, because you were a gift in the promo art of it, the managerial art. You never got to see him wrestle in NXT. From what I saw, I've seen some of the indie stuff when he was doing his other stuff, going from there under a different name. But I just find it entertaining. I was very upset because that was within the 24 hours of the AJ Brown trade. That was a very hard Friday for me, because at 9:00 at night, I'm like, AJ Brown's no longer excited. And then at like 2 p.m. on that Friday, it's like, Malcolm Vivid's release. I'm like, what? I'm looking at this guy. I'm like, what do you want from me? You take everything I love. Is this what you want me to be, a destroyer, or do I want to be a savior? And then, we draft Malik Willis, and then I feel a little bit better, right? And then Garrett Cole gets, a Cole job, and I feel a little bit easier. Cream fresh, everybody. But it was very upsetting about NXT. Right now, they have NXT Spring Breakin', and I forgot about it because I had the show, but also I spent a good hour and a half adding on to this PowerPoint. I'm proud to say I have like 36 slides, and I'm just going to expand like the final 4 slides. I'll give you probably 40. So yay us, guys. We did it. You helped. You're my hamburger helpers. Rice-A-Roni, the San Francisco treat. WrestleMania Backlash is this weekend. I'm not watching it. I'm just telling you that right now. The card is trash. There's matches I will watch, but I don't need to watch it on that Sunday. Instead, I'll watch playoff basketball, or I'll just play some Metroid Dread because now I'm in the mood to it. But I will do and my dog agrees with me, I will do my necessary predictions. Wow, they're really passionate about this. This is great. I don't know if you guys can hear them, but it always cracks me up when they're there. So they changed the main event stuff, and that's where they lost me, boys, because they were originally going to do a unification titles of the tag team belts for RK Bro and the Usos for the Raw and SmackDown tag teams. And now they changed it to be a triple threat match as your presumable main event of RK Bro and Drew McIntyre versus the Bloodline, which is Roman Reigns and Jimmy Uso. Snorefest. I know they're jump-starting the feud between Roman and Drew, but this was unnecessary. This was not needed. Why did we do this? You could just have this really being like a SmackDown match, and we understand that Drew and Roman's the hot star catalyst, but you could have just had Shin and Roman feud each other for 1 month, and then you could propel Drew McIntyre and Roman Reigns. I don't know if I want 4 months of this story. I don't think it has the longevity to it. And Roman's title reign has gotten kind of stale, and I get that, but I'm also not a Drew McIntyre guy in full yet. I like him better as a heel, and I haven't been won over as a face. Cody Rhodes versus Seth Rollins Part 2. We know it'll be a good match. We know Cody's going to win. They had a good match at Mania. The problem is when you have this 100% expectation of victory for one side, it kind of ruins it. That'll be a match I watch on Monday, but it's not going to be Sunday night. AJ Styles versus Edge. Guys, I want it, but there's going to be some chicanery going on because I think this feud does take you to SummerSlam because now they've infused Finn Balor into this. And Finn Balor and AJ Styles know each other from their New Japan days, from Bullet Club. Edge, been doing some good work. I think they rushed it a little bit to bring back to the rematch. I still think Edge wins that one, but I'm going to enjoy it. But that will be the Monday match. Happy Corbin versus Madcap Moss. Guys are together. Guys broke up. Moss wins. Goes from there. Bobby Lashley versus Amos. A rematch from WrestleMania. That's why they call it WrestleMania Backlash. This is what I would do. Have Bobby beat Amos. Have Bobby challenge Roman because Roman now has the unified titles. So you can put Roman on both shows. It doesn't need to be him and Drew fully. Why is it that Raw just gets ignored all the time? You can have Bobby and Roman for one match coming into either Hell in a Cell or Money in the Bank, and I get Samoan meat slapping, Black Adonis meat, and I'm a happy camper. Boys, I'm a happy camper because Francisco will tell you, Andrew, I love what? Meat slapping meat. And I don't have Big E because his neck is broken. Please heal quickly, Heitor. We love you. But I need some meat slapping in my life. And then, of course, if they were smart, they would actually do this as the main event. But Ronda Rousey, Charlotte Flair, and I Quit match for the Women's SmackDown Championship. If they main evented it, I'm fine. If they put this as being a schmoozy kind of ending, I'm not fine with it because you kind of did that at WrestleMania to begin with. Ronda wins, of course. That's fine. Charlotte's title reign's been kind of SmackDown's women's kind of right now with the roster and the talent that Vince wants to push. Raw's kind of doing better into it. What I would really like is we just kind of merge the women's championships and we actually merge the tag team titles because you're going to appease your two masters in USA and Fox, but that does not mean that we can't put all the one roster on one show. So you can have all the tag teams be on Raw. You can have all the women's be on SmackDown or vice versa. Because I think this will kind of drive ratings a little bit, right? It's the idea of West Coast games are always going to be on at 9 o'clock. So there's going to be people going to watch it because we like West Coast basketball, maybe more than East Coast basketball. I don't know. That's just suggestions I make to you. And that's all I'm going to give you guys for Cage this week. And I love my new sub. So come with me, everybody, every Tuesdays for the Cage. It's 7-1 Yankees. Oh, we're so legitimate. We're so legitimate. What the hell happened? I got passionate about wrestling and talking about stuff and insulting Tony Khan. And then we went from being 1-1 to 7-1. What is this greatness? Oh, Oh no. Okay. Oh, all right. It wasn't we don't have a Rizzo Jizzo. I would just have a heart attack and die.
All right. Well, I think that's it for us, everybody. Panthers are up. Hopefully, fingers crossed, everything goes well. And we'll see you guys next week. And hopefully, I'll have Andrew's new setup ready for by that point, Well, here we go. Yes. All right. Bye-bye.
Good night, everyone.
Take care.